9/11, also known as the September 11th attacks, were four coordinated suicide terrorist attacks carried out by terrorist militant Islamic extremist group Al-Qaeda that happened on September 11th of 2001. On that morning, 19 terrorists would hijack four commercial airliners, in which two would be deliberately crashed into the World Trade Center in New York City. A third plane would be crashed into the Pentagon, and then a fourth plane hijacked intended to crash into the Capitol in Washington, D.C., but instead it crashed into an open field in Pennsylvania. The attacks would kill a total of 2,977 people, not including the hijackers. In today's video, we will go over each attack that happened on that day in order to understand it more, and also through the media like CNN. This video will go in order as a timeline in order to describe each event. American Airlines Flight 11 would hold 90 people on board on the morning of September 11, 2001, including 11 crew and 81 passengers. Of the 81 passengers, 5 of them would be hijackers associated with Al-Qaeda, who all intended to hijack the plane to crash it into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. Mohammed Atta, the supposed ringleader of the attacks, would get on American Airlines Flight 11 alongside the other 4 hijackers. The flight would depart at 7:59 a.m. and the 5 hijackers would hijack the plane at 8:14 a.m. after storming into the cockpit after the pilot stopped responding to requests from the Boston Air Route Traffic Control Center. Flight attendants Betty Ong and Amy Sweeney would attempt to alert the airline's staff of the hijacking, each making phone calls, which some of them are available to be heard and listened to online if you guys want to check it out. But both brave flight attendants would alert them while on the plane, speaking about the hijacking. The pilot of the plane would be Captain John Ogunwaski, of 50 years old, and First Officer Thomas McGinnis Jr., of 42 years old. John would die in the air on Flight 11 during the hijackings, most likely being killed alongside McGinnis. The purser of the flight was Karen Martin, and there were 8 flight attendants when the plane was taken over by Atta. Mohammed Atta would hijack the plane at 8:14 a.m. and at 8:24 a.m. apparently trying to make an announcement to the passengers, but instead keyed the wrong switch and instead got picked up by air controllers, would make 3 announcements, 2 at 8:24 a.m. and another at 8:33 a.m., all being picked up and broadcasted to Boston Air Route Traffic Controllers. All those messages were picked up, but the plane would reach New York City and be deliberately crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center at 8:46 a.m. The only known footage of the first plane crashing into the North Tower was that of Jules Naudet and his brother, who were 2 French-American filmmakers.
This just in, you were looking at obviously a very disturbing live shot there. That is the World Trade Center, and we have unconfirmed reports this morning that a plane has crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center. CNN Center right now is just beginning to work on this story.
2 attempts to intercept the airplanes were attempted by 2 F-15 fighter jets, which took off around 8:53 a.m. But by that time, the plane had already crashed into the North Tower 7 minutes earlier. The plane would crash at a speed of about 465 miles per hour, hitting between the floors 93 and 99 of the North Tower. The plane, which was headed to Los Angeles International Airport, had about 10,000 U.S. gallons of jet fuel, which burned the building. United Airlines Flight 175 would hold 65 people on board, including 9 crew and 56 passengers. Of the 56 passengers, 5 would be another 5 hijackers, who all planned to hijack the plane and crash it into the South Tower of the World Trade Center. The flight's pilot would be Captain Victor Saraceni of 51 years old and First Officer Michael Horrocks of 38 years old. The purser of the plane would be Catherine Laborde, and 6 flight attendants would be on board. Ashiri, the lead hijacker, and the 4 other men would get on board between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. that morning. The flight would depart at 8:14 a.m. around the same time that Flight 11 was hijacked. Flight 175 would be hijacked by the men at 8:43 a.m. and it is believed that the attackers forcefully stormed the cockpit and attacked the pilots. There was also reportedly the use of bomb threats and mace during one of the phone calls of one of the passengers. Flight 175 would also face near collisions mid-air, missing 2 airplanes by miles. Flight 175's flight data could still be properly monitored, unlike Flight 11, who had its transponder off. The controllers would make several attempts to contact Flight 175 with no avail and would instead work to move other aircraft away from Flight 175. The plane would reach New York City and be deliberately crashed into the South Tower of the World Trade Center. Many news outlets and the media would capture the moment live while recording the first plane's impact of the North Tower. The second plane would hit more faster than the North Tower at over 500 miles per hour and strike floors 77 and 85 of the South Tower. The flight was also headed for Los Angeles International Airport. It departed from Logan International Airport in Boston, Massachusetts. The plane would be crashed at 9:03 a.m., 17 minutes after Flight 11, and had approximately 9,100 U.S. gallons of jet fuel. News coverage would capture the impact, and CNN would also capture it, with it starting broadcasting the North Tower's impact at 8:49 a.m. Both of the aircraft were Boeing 767s. 2 World Trade Center would be the first one to collapse at 9:59 a.m. and the 1 World Trade Center would collapse after 1 hour and 42 minutes at 10:28 a.m.
Like sparks falling, and then the top part of tower number 1 collapsing. These are shots from the ground of that scene. There have been frantic efforts to get people out of the tower. Now this is tape, and you can see now whether that was an explosion or exactly what happened that caused that second tower to collapse. We cannot tell you. CNN's Kelly Wallace is on the phone with us. Kelly, where are you? What can you tell us?
Aaron, I'm just about 4 blocks north of the location of where the World Trade Center was standing. I was actually en route to the command center. People really staring.
That have taken place in Washington, on the Pentagon. The State Department has been evacuated. Just a few moments ago, as we said, and perhaps 20 minutes after the first tower collapsed, we turned around and saw.
But yeah guys, let me know in the comments down below whether I should do the Pentagon's attack and Flight 93 story all being a part of the attacks. And today's video, due to the video being long already as it is, I'm going to do the attacks separately if you guys want me to. But yeah, let me know down in the comments down below. Also, make sure to check out my last video being about Jeffrey Dahmer and his story and my other videos. But yeah guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.
We are simply not close enough right at this point. We are following the smoke in the air right now. There are several boats and watercraft, as we can see in the river right now. We'll try to get a better vantage point and see what we can see on the ground. It's a little difficult from the air because the buildings kind of shadow the streets, but no doubt a lot of activity on the ground right now. Wow. That apparently does look like it is in the other building at this point.